charming and the air would be fresh.
A weekend with a woman.
In the country.
In the flesh.
Like some business with your mother.
See, it's business, dad, but the business with her mother would be hardly the business I'd worry about.
Just a weekend in the country, smelling jasmine.
Watching little things grow.
A weekend in the country.
Oh.
My darling will simply say no.
Weekend, how very amusing. Weekend, but also inept. Weekend, of course we're refusing. Oh, contraire, you must accept. No. A weekend in the country. That's right. No, you don't understand. A weekend in the country is delightful if it's planned. With your hair down and a flower, don't use makeup, dress in white. She'll grow older by the hour and be hopelessly shattered by Saturday night. Spend a weekend in the country. We'll accept it. Kind of feeling you would. In the country. Yes, it's only one night that we should. Good.
Well,
I'm an intriguing little socialite.
what?
Out at the Armfeld family manse.
Well, what?
Nearly a weekend still, I thought it might amuse you to know he's invited to go, this time with his pants.
Don't be.
I'll give you 3 guesses.
She wouldn't.
Reduce it to 2.
It can't be.
It nevertheless is.
Ever.
Right score 1 for you.
Aha.
Aha. Aha.
A weekend in the country, we should try it.
I wish we could ask.
A weekend in the country, we should quiet.
We'll go masked.
A weekend in the country.
And invite him, they'll consider it odd.
A weekend in the country, I'm delighted.
Oh my god.
And the shooting should be pleasant if the weather's not rough. Happy birthday to present.
What?
You haven't been getting out nearly enough. And a weekend in the country.
It's perverted.
Pack my quiver and go. A weekend in the country. At exactly 2:30 we go.
We can't.
We shall.
We shan't.
I'm getting the garden ordering
I'm
now.
certain you are, but I'm staying in town. Go good.
We will.
We should pack everything quiet. It's wonderful news.
Are you sure it's alright?
I'm thinking it out.
And we're off.
There's no need to shout.
Charlene and Caviar. We're off on our way. What a beautiful day for a weekend in the country. Oh, you sing a lively troll. A weekend in the country while we're losing our control. A weekend in the country, how enchanting on the manicured lawns. A weekend in the country with the panting and the yawns, with the crickets and the pheasants and the orchards and the hay, with the servants and the peasants. We'll be laying our plans while we're playing croquet for a weekend in the country, so inactive that one has to lie down. A weekend in the country where
A weekend in the country, the bees in their hives, the shallow worldly figures, the frivolous lives, the devil's companions know not whom they serve. It might be instructive to observe. A weekend,
take the concentration, and action. We're all on our way, what a beautiful day. With riotous laughter, we quietly suffer the season in town, which is reason enough for a weekend in the country. How amusing, how delightfully droll. A weekend in the country while we're losing our control. A weekend in the country, how enchanting on the manicured lawns. A weekend in the country with the panting and the yawns, with the crickets and the pheasants and the orchards and the hay, with the servants and the peasants. We'll be laying our plans while we're playing croquet for a weekend in the country, so inactive that one has to lie down. A weekend in the country where we're twice as upset as and twice as upset as and twice as upset as and twice as upset as. Thank you guys so much for coming. As most of you know, I did an ILA this semester with Neil on Sondheim.
And what I wanted to do with it was I wanted to analyze the text of, I think I did 6 of his shows. And then when we met every week, he and I worked together on analyzing the music. And we all know that he is recovering and he can't be here with us, so Ron has stepped in. It's been wonderful to get a chance to work with him because he has so much experience with Sondheim as well, which is really exciting. That song was from Little Night Music, which is, it's a piece that Hugh Wheeler wrote the book, and when Sondheim first read it, he thought that it was light and fluffy, and it took all of the darkness and the edge out of Ingmar Bergman's Smiles of a Summer Night, which is what it was based on. But Mary Rogers told him that it would give him an opportunity to kind of show off with his writing and everything, and so he decided that it wasn't as fluffy as he thought, and he wrote it in, almost all of it is in 3/4. There are variations on the wall, so there are a few measures that aren't, that he wrote before he decided that. And jumping back a few shows, you have Sondheim's Biggest Failure, which is a show called Anyone Can Whistle. And that was, from the beginning, it was just fraught with troubles. They were trying out in Philly, and they were learning new choreography because they were changing it all, and that night, one of the dancers got blinded by the footlights and actually stepped off the stage. He was trying to step down stage, fell onto the string section, so he wasn't really hurt because some poor old string player cushioned his fall. Had a stroke and died. A few weeks later, Harry Lasco, who was playing Comptroller Shue, which is a principal role, had a heart attack in his hotel room, and he also died. And then by the time they got to Broadway, despite all of this stuff, it played for a whopping 9 performances. So definitely worth it. The one thing that did was it introduced Angela Lansbury to the world of musicals. She had never sung before. She was terrified of singing. And in fact, they looked at replacing her halfway through tryouts. But they didn't, and actually, when Henry died, they were fought. And so when he died, that actually fixed a lot of her problems. So, one of my favorite songs from it is a song called Everybody Says Don't. And this is a song where the protagonist, Hapgood, he is convincing Faye, who's the romantic interest, not to roll over. It's all about political unrest and corruption and stuff, and he's saying, don't just let them, don't just do whatever they say, fight for the things that you believe. And it's a fun little patter song, and it goes something like this. Everybody says don't, everybody says don't, everybody says don't, it isn't right, don't, it isn't nice. Everybody says don't, everybody says don't, everybody says don't walk on the grass, don't disturb the peace, don't skate on the ice. Well, I say do, I say walk on the grass was meant to feel, I say sail, tilt at a windmill, and if you fail, you fail. Everybody says don't, everybody says don't, everybody says don't get out of line, and they say that then, lady, that's a sign. 9 times out of 10, lady, you are doing just fine. Make just a ripple, come on, be brave, this time a ripple, next time a wave. Sometimes you have to start small, climbing the tiniest wall. Maybe you're going to fall, but it's better than not starting at all. Everybody says no, everybody says stop, everybody says don't get out of line, else it rock the boat. Everybody says don't, everybody says wait, everybody says can't fight City Hall, can't upset the cart, can't laugh at the kings. Well, I say try, I say laugh at the kings, it'll make you cry. Lose your poise, fall if you have to, but lady, make a noise. Everybody says don't, everybody says can't, everybody says wait around for miracles, that's the way the world is made. I insist on miracles, if you do them miracles, And if you kind of break it down to its core, you could say that it's a show about making choices and the consequences that they have. The first act is kind of this fractured fairy tale of a number of different classic fairy tales, and then the second act, they kind of all see the consequences of what they did in the first act. And this next song is at the point when, let's see, you have Jack from Jack and the Beanstalk, Cinderella, Little Red Riding Hood, and the baker, who's the protagonist of the show, essentially. They have all experienced death over the course of the play up until this point, and they find that they're in the woods alone with no one but themselves to turn to.
What's wrong? My granny's gone? No, I'm sorry. I think my granny and my mother would be upset with me. Why? They said to always make them proud. And here I am about to kill somebody.
Not somebody. A giant who has been doing harm.
But the giant's a person. Aren't we to show forgiveness? Mother would be very unhappy with these circumstances.
Mother cannot guide you. Now I'm alone. Only me beside you. Still you're not alone. No one is alone. Truly, no one's alone. Sometimes people leave you halfway through the road. Others wait to save you. You decide what's good. No one's alone, but no one's alone. I wish I know.
Wait until my mother hears I've slain the giant.
Jack, your mother is dead.
Dead? Was she killed by the giant?
She was arguing with the giant, trying to protect you, and she was dealt a deadly blow by Princess Stewart.
Oh, no. Oh, can no one bring her back?
No one.
The steward will pay for this. After we slay the giant, I will slay him.
He'll do nothing of the kind.
But he shouldn't have killed my mother, right?
I guess not.
Then he must die.
Well, no.
Why not?
Because that would be wrong.
What he did was wrong. He should be punished.
He will, somehow.
How?
I don't know! Stop asking me questions I can't answer.
I'm going to kill him.
Then kill him. No, don't kill him.
Mother isn't here now.
Wrong things, right things.
Who knows what she'd say?
Who can say what's true?
Nothing's quite so clear now.
Things, fight things.
You lost your way.
You decide what you
You
want.
alone. Believe me, no one's
No
alone.
one is alone, believe me.
Truly, you
Move just a finger. Say the slightest word.
Something is bound to
linger.
be heard.
No one acts alone. Careful, no one is alone. People make mistakes. Fathers,
Others,
people make mistakes. Pull things to their So over the course of doing this project, I kind of realized that even though I haven't ever been in a Sondheim show, I have a personal connection to so many of them that I didn't even realize I had. For instance, when I first got to Webster, the first show that they did while I was a freshman was a show called Company. And I remember seeing that show, and I just thought it was so absolutely incredible. I dragged my mom's family and my dad's family to see it over the course of its 2-run weekend. And it was just, I didn't realize that was my introduction kind of to life as a student in Webster. And this is the ending song, Being Alive. But actually they went through 4 different songs over the course of the show that were the ends, and they were 4 essentially completely different songs. The last 2, the one right before Being Alive was called a song called Happily Ever After. And it was essentially Robert saying that marriage was an absolute trap. There was nothing good about it. And audiences said, I'm trying to get this quote right, it was the most bittersweet, like unpleasant, depressing song they'd ever heard in their lives, essentially. And so they used a lot of it when they wrote Being Alive, but what the biggest difference is that Being Alive, halfway through the song, has a turn where Robert realizes that he's ready to kind of let these other people into his life, or let someone else into his life, and he's been putting up these walls this whole time, and he's ready to not do that anymore. So this is Being Alive.
When are we gonna make it?
I beg your pardon?
When are we gonna make it?
What's wrong with now?
There's my place. It's free tomorrow after 2. Larry goes to his gym, then right to the office. Don't talk. Don't do your Harold teen thing with me. You're a terribly attractive man. The kind of man most women want and never seem to get. I'll take care of you.
Yeah, but then who will I take care of?
Well, did you hear yourself? Did you hear what you just said, kiddo?
I didn't mean that.
Oh, I just heard a door open that's been stuck a long time.
Like I haven't looked at all that? At marriages and all that. And what does it get you? What do you get? Someone to hold you too close. Someone to hurt you too deep. Someone to sit in your chair and ruin your sleep.
That's true, but there's more than that.
Is that all you think there is to it?
You've got so many reasons for not being with someone, but Robert, you haven't got one good reason for being alone.
You're on to something, Bobby. You're on to something.
Someone to need you too much. Someone to know you too well. Someone to pull you up short and put you through hell.
You're not a kid anymore, Robert. I don't think you'll ever be a kid again, kiddo.
Hey, buddy, don't be afraid. It won't be perfect. But the only thing to be afraid of, really, is that it won't be.
Don't stop now. Keep going.
Someone to have to let in. Someone whose feelings you spare. Someone who, like it or not, will want you to share a little, a lot.
And what does all that mean?
Robert, how do you know so much about it when you've never been there?
It's much better living it than looking at it, Robert. Add 'em up, Bobby, add 'em up.
Someone to crowd you with love. Someone to force you to care. Someone to make you come through. Will always be there, as frightened as you of being alive, being alive, being alive, being alive.
Blow out the candles, Robert. Make a wish. Want something. Want something.
Somebody pull me up short and put me through hell and give me support for being alive. Make me alive. Make me alive. Make me confused. Mock me with praise. Let me be used. Bury my days. But alone is alone, not alive. Somebody crowd me with love. Somebody force me to care. Somebody make me come through. I'll always be there, as frightened as you, to help us survive. Being alive. Being alive. Being alive. For my 16th birthday, I went with my mother to New York for the first time. I'd never been. We saw a number of Broadway shows, and I liked almost all of them. But she insisted we go see this new revival of a show called Sweeney Todd. She knew it, she loved it. I'd never heard of it, never heard any of the lyrics or anything. Didn't know what it was. Directed by John Doyle, I later found out. Was where they played the musical and Sweeney Todd. The great thing about that experience is Sweeney Todd is a show that has so many turns in the plot and everything, and you only have one chance to see it without knowing what happens. And so that was something that was really special to me because I went on the journey and all of the surprises and everything I got to experience, and I can't have that experience again. We left the theater, we bought the 2-disc set on the way out, and I listened to it probably for the next 2 months straight. I just fell in love with it, and I think it was because of the size, the passion that the characters have. Actually, in Venus and Fur, they talk about that, about these operatic emotions, the size that in opera and various things, that the characters can have emotions that we aren't allowed to have in real life, essentially, or they can be bigger than life. And I think that's part of why I like it so much. So this is the end of the first act. It's where Sweeney Todd decides that he turns his vengeance from one man, the judge, to the entire human race. And he has help from his friend, Nellie Lovett. I have to go grab my water. Now to
Sunday, everything's set for you tonight. Judge Turpin?
There is indeed a higher power toward me thus in time. Joanna elope with you? Deceit, slut. I'll lock her up in some obscure retreat where neither of you nor any other vile, corrupting youth shall ever lay eyes on her again.
But sir, I beg.
And as for you, barber, it's still too clear what company you keep. Service them well and hold their custom, for you'll have none of mine.
Mr. Todd.
Out. Out, I say!
All this running and shouting, what is it now, dear? Sailor busted in, I saw them both running down the street, and I said to myself, the fat's in the fire for sure. Yeah, don't fight, dear.
I hadn't! This one was there and will never come again.
Easy now. Hush, love, hush. I keep telling you,
Wait.
what's your rush?
Can I wait? You told me to wait and will never come again.
I mean, with the price of meat, what it is, when you get it, if you get it. Good, you got it. Me in a pie shop. Business never better using only pussy.
perhaps, but not as bland as curate.
Ain't good for business, always leaves you wanting more. Trouble is, we only get it in on Sundays.
Speaking of, another example of how I didn't even realize, that I have this connection to some of these shows. The first Sondheim show I ever heard, listened to, fell in love with, I didn't even know it was Sondheim. It was the summer before my sophomore year of high school. And my best friend at the time, he was listening nonstop to this new soundtrack of the recent revival of a show called Assassins, which is a show about US presidential assassins, both those who succeeded and those who didn't. And I, of course, made him burn it, because if he was listening to it, I wanted to listen to it too. And I fell in love with it, had no idea who Sondheim was. It wasn't until much later that I kind of put two and two together. But fast forward to my sophomore year here at Webster, I met someone who is one of my best friends to this date, named Michael Raymond. And one thing about Michael Raymond is that he loves to make mixed CDs for people. And so one time he made me this CD of songs that I should sing that would be good in my book or that would be good in my voice. And there was a song on there that I had no idea what it was, and I eventually Googled the lyrics to find out what it was. It was a song from Passion called "Is This What You Call Love?" And I had the Passion CD, and I don't know why, and I listened through it, but you know, very similarly to that kind of operatic passion that Sweeney Todd has, the people in the show Passion, their emotions are almost bigger, but they're all bottled up into just a relationship. You know, no like killing or anything like that. But the song is really intriguing to me, having gone through the show now, because at first it could just be a song that's just very dismissive. It's about, you know, he's saying that this is not love, you don't know what love is. But where he is in the show, he's at the point where he's fallen in love with Fausta, who she's this sickly, very ugly, you know, kind of always on her deathbed kind of a person, and she has become obsessed with Giorgio, who is the protagonist, when he lent her books. And so he's already found himself falling in love with her, but he doesn't want to. And so when you add that layer, it makes the song so much more intriguing, I think. And so this is that song, Passion. What happened to your hands?
I must have fallen.
No business being out here.
Do you want me dead?
Oscar, don't be so unfair.
Right, I am unfair. I want to free you from my affection. I know what it's doing to you. Why is it that the violets and daisies blossom now?
They mistake autumn's warmth for April.
What is that bird that sings?
A wren, I think.
What does it look like?
It is gray, and I think the smallest of birds.
The smallest. You know so much. Give me a kiss. Yes, I know a woman shouldn't ask such a thing. A woman shouldn't have followed a man here. Well, given my appearance, I don't behave as other women do. So I ask you for a kiss. Then I'll kiss you.
Is this what you call love? This endless, insatiable, smothering pursuit of me. You think that this is love? I'm sorry that you're lonely. I'm sorry that you want me as you do. I'm sorry that I failed to feel the way you wish me to feel. I'm sorry that you're ill. I'm sorry you're in pain. I'm sorry that you aren't beautiful. But yes, I wish you'd go away and leave me alone. Everywhere I turn, there you are. This is not love, just some kind of obsession. Will you never learn? When too far is too far, have you no concern for what I feel, what I want? Love is what you earn and return, and you care for one another so much that the other set free. Don't you see? Can't you understand? Love's not some constant demand. It's a gift you bestow. Love isn't sudden surrender. It's tender and slow. It must grow. Yet everywhere I go, you appear, or I know you are near. This is not love, just a need for possession. Call it what you will, this is not love, this is the reverse. Like a curse, something out of control. I begun to fear for my soul.
It takes a lot of men to make a god. Hundreds, many men to make a god. Men in the mines who dig the iron, men in the mills who forge the steel, men in machines who turn the barrel, hold the trigger, shape the wheel. It takes a lot of men to make a god. One god, and all you have to do
ensure my future, my niche in history, and then the world will see that I am not a man to overlook. Ha ha! And all you have to do is squeeze your little finger, ease your little finger back. You can change the world. Whatever else is true, you trust your little finger. Just a single little finger can change the world.
It's really great. Shit, where is it? No, it's really great. Wait, shit, where is it? Anyway, it's just 38. It's a gun. You can make a state. Meant to be wrong with the gun. Even if you fail it. Tells who you are, where you stand. This one was on sale. Wait, no, not the shoe. Well, actually, the shoe was too. No, that's not it. Shit, I had it here. Got it. Yeah, there it is. All you have to do is hook your little finger. Hook your little finger round. Shit, I shot it.
You can change the world. Simply follow through and look. Your little finger can slow them down. Show them all, big and small. It took a little finger, no time to change the
A gun kills many men before it's done. 100, long before you shoot the gun. Men in the mines and in steel mills, men in machines who die for what? Something to buy, a watch, a shoe, a gun, a thing to make the bosses richer. But a gun kills many men before it's done. Just one more.
Thank you guys so much for coming. We have one more show for you. It ranks up there. It always kind of finds me out my favorite show. It is called Sunday in the Park with George. It's about George Seurat while he was painting his famous An Afternoon on the Grand Shot. It's where he developed his pointillism style. And what he did was he used, it's a very large canvas, and he used 11 colors plus white. No more. And so what he would do is he would put, say, red and blue next to each other, and the eye would see purple, but there was no purple pigment. And so when Sondheim was sent on to write this show, he wanted to do the same thing with music. And so a lot of the show rests on half steps, where he puts these two notes right next to each other so that you hear kind of a third note, which I just think is such a great example of the specificity of the work that he does and everything. But I just think that's really incredible. Yeah, so without any ado, this is the end of Sunday in the Park with George.
Charles has a book. Charles shows them his crayons. Marie has the ball of Charles. Good for Marie. Charles misses his ball. George misses Marie. passing. George looks ahead, he sees the dark. When did it fade? Where are the people out strolling on Sunday? George looks within, George is adrift. George goes by guessing. George looks behind, he had a gift. When did it fade? You wanted people out strolling on Sunday. Sorry, Marie. See, George, remember how George used to be. Stretching his vision in every direction. See, George attempting to see a connection. When all he can see is maybe a tree, the family tree. Sorry, Marie. George is afraid. George sees the park. George sees it dying. George too may fade, leaving no mark, just passing through. Just like the people out strolling on Sunday. George looks around, George is alone, no use denying. George is aground, George has outgrown what he can do. George would like to see people out strolling on Sunday.
I almost did not recognize you without your hair. You have my book.
Your book?
Yes.
It's a little difficult to understand.
Well, I was teaching myself. My writing got much better. I worked very hard and made certain that Marie learned right away.
Marie.
It's good to see you. Not that I ever forgot you, George. You gave me so much.
What did I give you?
Many things. You taught me about concentration. At first, I thought that meant just being still, but I was to understand it meant much more. You meant to tell me to be where I was, not someplace in the past or future. I would worry too much about tomorrow. I thought the world would be perfect. I was wrong.
What else?
Oh, enough about me. What about you? Are you working on something new?
No.
That is
I'm
not
working on
like
anything new.
I've nothing to say. Well, nothing that's not been said.
said by you.
I do not know where to go.
Nor did I.
I want to make things that count. Things that
I
will be.
did what I had to do.
What am I to do?
Move on. Stop worrying where you're going. Move on. If you can know where you're going, you've gone. Just keep moving on.
Once I hadn't looked at your mouth, flower on your hat, and your smile,
I
and
would
the
be so
color of
pleased.
your hair, and all the way you catch the light, and the care, and the feeling.
Why did you write these words?
They are your words, George. The ones you muttered so often when you worked.
Order.
George, is that you?
Yes.
Tell me, is this place as you expected it?
What?
The park, of course.
Somewhat.
Go on.
The greens are a little darker, the sky a little grayer, mud tones in the water.
Yes, I suppose.
But the air is rich and full of light.
Good.
Design. Tension. Composition. Balance. Light. Dog, I cannot read this word.
Harmony.
So much love in his words. Forever with his colors. How George looks. He can look green, purple, yellow, and red. What does he see? His eyes, so dark and shiny, so careful. Through the range of shadows, towards the verdant coast of trees. Made of flecks of light and dark and parasol.
People strolling through the trees
Of a small suburban park on an island in the river. On an island
blank page or canvas, his favorite. So many possibilities.